Well, Mr. Speaker, our Democrat colleagues have tried to distract from the historic achievements reached in 2025 by mischaracterizing the work of the House Committee on Rules with weaponized statistics taken out of context. I would like to remind my colleagues that barely over a third, or 37%, of rules this Congress have been closed at the discretion of the Committee on Rules, meaning for the vast majority of closed rules, there were not any amendments that could even be made in order. My friends all across the aisle, particularly my friend from Massachusetts, all too well knows the often Herculean tasks required of the Rules Committee and the difficult discussions when deliberating amendment decisions. The Rules Majority believes in meaningful lawmaking, not partisan messaging exercises. We do not need to come up with partisan messaging amendments at the last minute in order to scare, or rather score, political points or manufacture floor fights, but instead focus on advancing thoughtful, substantive legislation like the measures before us today through a fair and transparent process. And I also want to note, as I understand it, under my Democrat colleagues' stewardship of the Committee on Rules, he mentions abolishing tradition or what have you. Well, I think it's helpful to note, Mr. Speaker, that under his leadership of the Committee on Rules, they abolished the centuries-old tradition of the motion to recommit with instructions. I think we would all benefit from an explanation of abolishing that centuries-old tradition and a right of the minority. I reserve, Mr. Speaker.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Mr. Speaker, a lot of words to justify the most closed Congress in history. 83% of the rules have been closed. 8 out of 10. You don't even call for amendments anymore. And people know that it's a waste of time to come to the Rules Committee because you already tipped them off. There are going to be no amendments in order. And 90% of Democratic amendments have been rejected. And a big chunk of Republican amendments have been rejected. I'm sorry that your rank and file are such cheap dates when it comes to legislating, but they cave all the time and they vote for these crappy rules that are totally closed. So that's a bunch of bullshit. Let's be honest. That's what we're talking about here. That is just that's not an accurate assessment of what is going on here. I mean, this is the most closed Congress in history. You should be ashamed. I reserve.
I want to remind members about using profanity during debate. Gentleman's recognized.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. First and foremost, I think when your arguments are hollow, that's when you revert to foul language, and I think that's evident as we've seen today. But again, I asked the question, Mr. Speaker, to the American people, and I hope that they demand an answer. Under the gentleman from Massachusetts stewardship of the Committee on Rules, they abolished a centuries-old tradition during the 117th Congress. I think we would all welcome, we are debating, in fact, procedure today. I think we would all welcome an explanation of that horrific abolishment of committee procedure. I reserve.
Reserves. Gentleman from Massachusetts.
Yeah, and Mr. Speaker, I just want to remind my Republican friends who just kind of go along to get along. I mean, Mr. Arrington, who's a chairman, 71% of his amendments have been blocked. I mean, I could write down the list. Congresswoman May, 76% of her amendments have been. Stubbe, 79% have been blocked. I go right down the list. These are all Republicans who just routinely get blocked. So, I mean, enough. This is a ridiculous argument. The bottom line is a lot of words to justify the most closed Congress in history, and I reserve.
Gentleman reserves. Gentleman from Georgia.
We reserve.
Gentleman reserves.
May I ask the gentleman how many more speakers he has on his side? Hold on.
1 minute for letter for now.
No, I'm sorry. I yield 1 minute to the gentleman.